We got
All good, man.
threes. We got twos. We got the double barrel ones.
And then number one.
And
And start it.
start it.
It's all you, bro.
What up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all those are in and around the age of 18, because if you're watching this on YouTube, according to YouTube, you can't watch this unless you're in and around the age of 18 because we say some bad words. What
We're
up? It is
drinking.
PS, it is, and we drink. It is PS Comics. I love you, the pop culture podcast phenomenon that has been
Mm.
taking to the airwaves of multiple podcast platforms,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, and your hearts for the last year plus in this
Mm-hmm.
COVID verse, this coronaverse.
Yes.
It is the official pop culture podcast of KRP Broadcasting. He is, if he's over there, he is JR
Where?
Cabacungan. He is the Dark King. He is the guy who took me 50 episodes plus some bonus shows to figure out how the hell to say his last name.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
I
It's all
remember,
good.
I will say this 50
Yeah.
episodes again. I went right before we would hit record. I'd ask JR, how do you pronounce your last name? And it just got to the point where JR would open the show and he would
Mm-hmm.
just say himself. And I remember I used to have to cut, copy, and paste from my address book
Yeah.
on how to pronounce, how to spell Cabacungan. Yeah, so here we are 50 episodes later. I know how to say it. I know he's the Dark King. I know you can follow him at also not JR Comics
Pick it up.
42. What's
Yeah.
up?
No, nothing. I had a little bit of lag. It's all good.
All right. Do we have any update? Are there any eBay listings going on for JR Comics? Anything?
Currently, not yet.
All
Because
right.
what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna just unload a bunch of stuff soon. And because I just I got my recent batch of CGCs back, right? And so
Oh, that's right. I was saying you and your sister got CGC's back.
yeah, it's insane. It is insane. And shout out to my sister, man. Go follow her at the Hangry Collector on Instagram.
Yes, she's
She
back.
she's back now. Yeah. So she's currently posting again. She's currently getting uh back into the scene. We've already had like people from Stranger Comics whom she's on a first name basis with, I guess, right? That has been like, hey, have missed you? We've missed you. I've seen you around. So, here's some exclusives that you missed out on if you still want. I'm like, that girl got the hookup everywhere. It's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. It is absolutely crazy. So yeah,
Speaking
man.
of hookups, yeah, on a first name basis with Empty Tombs Comics. Haven't heard from him in a while. He's kind of laying low a little bit. I reached out to him about about a month ago, actually. And so shout out, he does listen to the podcast. Shout out to Empty Tombs Comics, and we do want to have him on the show. We want to in the next go round of podcasts of season 2. Now we should note that this is, as we record this, it is June 27th. We will be recording for, I believe, let's see. I leave on the 17th, so
July. Yeah.
we should have about maybe two more. I'd say two more episodes that will be recorded.
Yeah, man.
So we will get to 52 episodes, which would be a
Mhm.
full year. And we will end season 1, take a 2-week hiatus. I am working on some top secret, double secret probation, COVID-19 universe bonus episodes for those 2 weeks. And they're going to be possibly some of our first interview podcasts. So I'm working on that. I'm hoping to have those in the can this week or next. Now, I have a bit of a busy week this week.
Yes, you do.
We teased this on our Loki episode, which is now available. We're all well, by the time you listen to this, it should be available everywhere. But I know that as I record this, it's not up on YouTube yet. Been having a little trouble with YouTube. We teased it on our Loki 3 episode that I have a secret that has to do with Disney Plus and Marvel, and it's going on this Tuesday. And that is, I can safely announce now that my wife and I will be traveling to Hollywood most specifically to the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, for a special red carpet Marvel fan
Yep.
experience for Black Widow.
This
I will be
guy.
going to the world premiere of Black Widow this Tuesday in Hollywood at the El Capitan.
Mm.
Um, I don't know what all that I don't know what to expect. But I did this about 2 years ago, in May of 19. I did a premiere event. And that's all it
Mhm.
was. That was all that was. It was kind of published about was a fan screening of episode 1 of season 3 of Jessica Jones.
Mhm.
Did not know that there was a red carpet event, which there was. The characters were there. Kristen Ritter specifically was there. Um, Rachel, can't think of her last name.
Mm.
Rachel Taylor, who plays Patsy, plays Trish Walker, was there. But I missed the red carpet. I got there kind of late, and but they came out and they made kind of like, they did a little wave the hand kind of deal before the screening. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. This maybe small, but when it's at the El Capitan, it's typically where Marvel does their big world premieres. So yeah, we're gonna go up there and check that out. We're gonna make a day of it in Hollywood, and I will report back for episode number 51 how
Nice.
it went. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a long day on Tuesday and a longer day on Wednesday for me.
Mm-mm.
So, anyways, cheers to that. I will keep I will keep the spoilers to myself until July 9th. July 9th, when Black Widow premieres on Disney Plus Premiere
Mm.
Access. Yeah, should be a lot of fun, and looking forward to that on Tuesday.
I will say, this media wrap up for Black Widow, it has been really churning out, right? You see all the events, you see the press tours, well, some of the press tours, and you see some of the newer, advertisements and ads at, right? I know they recently came out with an ad, a specific ad for NBA, for the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's it's funny considering who's in it. The Ball brothers are in it, and I'm like, why the hell are they there? Type of thing, right? I'm like, I see it every now and then, Jim. I'm like, all right, cool. It's an ad for freaking for Black Widow. I'm like, all right, they got the Ball brothers to do that, huh? I guess that's the only time they can say that they've been somewhat associated with a Marvel movie, I guess.
yeah.
The
God, do not put them in a Marvel movie. That would be terrible.
no, 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 no. They won't. They won't. But yeah, man,
Well,
super excited for Kevin for doing that, man. When I heard the news about that, I was pretty crazy. But yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'm
good.
stoked. I will post some pictures both.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm Kevin Pillap, voice of Reason 23.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't already know, I will post photos both
Mm-hmm.
on my social media account at Voice of Reason 23 on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I will also post stuff on our social media, PS Comics I Love You, Facebook and Instagram, and if it transfers over to Twitter, it's PS
Yeah.
Comics I Love the letter U. So yeah, we'll just check that out. Subscribe, like, comment, stalk us, follow us, whatever. We don't give a crap. Like, subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching
Mm-hmm.
here. Subscribe and give us that 5-star review over on all the podcast platforms. I'm working on something. I got an email from Amazon working on uh, getting the Amazon experience a little bit more up to date. So I'm
Okay.
working on Amazon with that, and so yeah, that's what's up. Jr. very much kind of labeled this the flex episode, and this is
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it is an anniversary episode. It's the 50th episode,
Yeah.
though we do technically have 2 more episodes to go beyond this
Mm-hmm.
in our season,
Yeah.
barring any kind of scheduling conflicts like we had last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do have a lot of news and notes to get through over the past 2 weeks. So let's get right into it. A bunch of trailers released, Jared.
Yeah.
Starting with the last day of E3,
Mm-hmm.
we saw the sequel trailer and some
Yep.
raw game footage
Yep.
of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, that they're tentatively calling it.
Mhm.
and it has a tentative release date of 2022, which, Jared, let's face it, that's going to probably most likely be holiday 2022. So we're looking about a year and a half away.
Maybe it's a possibility where some people are probably looking at, maybe early, actually even as early as, January to February, that little market right there, because of how it's pretty sparse after 2022, right? If the only thing for we to look forward to is the holiday season, people are still going to need way more than just, your constant updates for Animal Crossing and some other things here or there. For me, I feel that this might be an early release 2022 for
It
me.
could be, yeah, it could be. You do have Diamond and Pearl, the Diamond and Pearl remakes for Switch coming out at the end of November.
Hmm.
And you have other releases that are coming out this fall, which we'll get to here in just a moment. But like Jared said, E3 was very quiet for
Hmm.
major releases. Breath of the
Hmm.
Wild sequel was the only major announcement. There was no talk of Pokemon, though
Hmm.
Pokemon typically has their own Nintendo Direct. But
Yeah.
the Diamond and Pearl remake are coming out in the end of November. Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out in early January
Hmm.
of 2022. So I know that a lot of gaming companies don't like to stack
Yeah.
release dates. So you're right; it's a possibility it could still come. But just knowing where Breath of the Wild, which is a massive release,
Yes, it is.
um, I think that obviously the best opportunity for its marketability
Hmm.
would be in the holidays. Obviously, that's where a lot of
Yeah.
things are. But like I said, this has been it's been
Yeah.
like by the time it comes out, it'll have been what,
4
like
years now.
4 years since the last game.
Yeah.
Which
It's at the same time, like you're talking about a generational type of game in Breath of the Wild 1, where that game specifically sold the Wii,
the
the not the
Switch,
Wii, the
the
Switch, right?
Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that is the reason why people got the Switch, because it's most likely you have a new Zelda coming out, and this is Zelda
Yeah.
that kind of really reshaped its own identity, where it took a lot of like a lot of open world sandbox elements, and then just really just went with it. And for me, yeah, I think it is probably a big possibility that it might be at the end of the year, but I feel like it's kind of already done with it's like, platform pushing, in the sense of like selling consoles, right? You sold your consoles already. You're already at
Yeah.
70 some million. You're gonna probably beat the PS4 and being the fastest selling console of all time.
Oh,
And granted,
absolutely.
I think for them strategically, it'd be good to have it near the beginning of the year, or at least the first 3 months, right? So if, let's say, if there is still somehow, if there's still somehow some way we get over this crisis of like not getting the right parts for certain consoles, right? And if we go back to swing of things somewhere at the end of this year, and then production starts ramping up again, you have that window in 2022 of 3 months where, like, all right, cool, if Breath of the Wild comes out, and then we could have, the new Switches out, or the reproductions of Switches out. That'd be a great thing for, specifically for Nintendo. I feel like they might be in the best position out of all the consoles to like just push consoles. Don't get me wrong, like they're still in talks of like possibly having another Switch, right? An upgraded Switch version.
Yeah, that
Some
which did, spoiler alert, did not get announced
yeah,
at
at,
E3.
which yeah,
That
understandably
was
so.
surprising.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it'll probably be more like what the PS4 did with PS4 Pro, right? So
Yeah.
it'll be a step up, but not that drastic of a step up. When considering PS4 and PS5 for Xbox Series X and to its other counterparts. And so,
Yeah,
but like,
this is not going to be like a second generation. This is not going
yeah,
to be the Nintendo Switch 2. It is going
yeah,
to be a pro model
yeah.
upgraded. This is the rumored
Mhm.
updated RAM, graphics, yada yada yada.
Which is fine, but at the same time, when you look at a bunch of these games that have been, when you look at Nintendo in general, right? A lot of their games hasn't been that graphic pushing type of gameplay, type of game. It's not necessarily in their genome, right? Specifically in the last now 15, 20 years. You could say that about maybe, Super Mario 64, when they just freaking blew the doors open off of, like, sandbox games and open world 3D. But when you talk about nowadays, man, they're all about gameplay, and I gave them props for that. They're all about gameplay.
Absolutely. What where a lot of I know I'm going to get attacked by the fanboys. And what are you
Hmm,
talking about? You're not a gamer. Let's be honest. Let's
hmm,
absolutely be honest. The
hmm,
games that are being played on the major consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, the Xbox
hmm.
Series X and the PS5, the games are you're buying those games, you're buying those systems to play multiplayer games.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not playing campaign mode. That's why a lot of I think they were saying like the new whatever the next generation of Call of Duty. I was talking to a friend of mine at work,
Hmm, hmm.
and they said that he had read the next generation of Call of Duty games are not going to have campaign mode.
Yeah,
That they're just going to continue to upgrade and sadly microtransaction you to death on playing multiplayer.
absolutely.
Um, but where like JR just said, where the PS5 and the Xbox Series X far and away have pound for pound the best graphics, the Switch isn't bad. It's not like you're playing
No.
with an original Nintendo Game Boy or anything, which
Hmm.
still, let's be honest, if you had a working one, you'd still play Game Boy.
Yeah,
But the Switch is pretty damn good.
yeah.
But where they lack in jaw-dropping graphics, with the exception of Legend of Zelda,
Hmm.
um, they make more than make up in substance.
Yeah,
Their games have better gameplay,
yeah,
i.e., Breath of the Wild.
yeah.
So, and I'm really, really interested. I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours at dinner tonight. Was That's what's so interesting about Arceus, the new Pokemon Legends game, and this could jumpstart a new because where Pokemon was even to this day, yeah, they have a little bit more open world with Sword and Shield, but the old games like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, the new Diamond and Pearl, they're very old school kind of Final Fantasy style games where you just go station to station, uh, do some do some battles, and then collect wild Pokemon on the way. But Arceus really is going to change the way things are played because it's an open world. It's more open than Sword and Shield is. It's going to be on the level of Breath of the Wild. Its way of playing a Pokemon game is going to completely change. And like I was telling this friend of ours, um, it could open up to multiple sequels that
Yeah.
do the same thing. So um, in Nintendo, like I said, which is funny because we're going to get into proving my point on the next line.
Mm,
Um, Lacks in the graphics, heavy in the story mode, heavy in the story, the gameplay.
yeah.
Funny thing is, next game we talk about, which got a little mixed review, was Metroid Dread.
Hmm.
Um, Old school 2D graphics,
Hmm.
but at the same time, a little bit. It's not the same thing as like, you're not playing it on the NES or the SNES.
No.
It's Wii style 2D graphics,
Yeah.
and it didn't look too bad. I just never really gravitated to the Metroid games.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
here's the thing about the Metroid. It's like, when you're talking about old school Metroidvania type games, right? These 2D scrollers where it's all about, if you don't hit your shots, you get punished severely, right?
yeah,
One of those games where like if you get hit one time, two times, you're dead, right? And you got to start the whole level over again. You like Metroid, like Castlevania, like even the older Sonic games, right? These are the games, specifically Metroid, that started all off. And we have now, like in the last 4 or 5 years, this crazy recurrence of 2D platformers or 2D side scroller games, right? That have come out of the woodwork from indie developers that have just had these huge acclaims, man. And now you have basically the granddaddy coming back and said, "Hey, we'll do Metroid again."
yeah,
And again, for fans of Metroid, this is a big win because Metroid has been dead for a long freaking time. A long time. Like there has been like every time I either go on forums or watch YouTube videos or I even talk to like people at cons where we're talking about, classic Zelda games, they would always go, yeah, Metroid would be in there if it wasn't dead already, type of stuff, right? And now just seeing new Metroid out there is a good sign. Granted, yes, it's not the best. And I'm not talking about graphically, but more so just like There you people thought it was gonna be more 3D. People thought it was gonna be do these other things. People thought the graphics were gonna be a little bit better. Man, just having it back is just a godsend, honestly. Because again, people want to see Metroid. People want to see Samus Aran. She's a great character. I
Yeah,
mean, granted, how do I say without spoiling anything? Granted, I feel like there should be way more story out there than there is right now. I feel like she's definitely one of the mascots of Nintendo that I feel should have a bigger spotlight other than being in a Smash Bros game. You know what I mean? Like she
yeah,
should have had way more games than she has now. But granted, we have Metroid Dread, which is great, which is good. I'm happy with it. These like already Zelda Breath of the Wild and Metroid Dread, right, are really steering me into getting a Switch. Granted, I should have freaking got one when it came out, dude. Your boy didn't have money when they first came out. When your boy did have money, COVID happened,
yeah. And they
and for some,
disappeared too.
they disappeared, or people are selling for like thousands of dollars. It's crazy, right? So, yeah, when they start selling them again, yeah, already Legends of Zelda, Breath of the Wild 1 and 2 are definitely on my hit list. Metroid Dread, I definitely want to play some of the new Mario Party stuff that's gonna come out soon as well. And again, like we've been saying from our last E3 episode, it's about the games and gameplay. Games and gameplay. They showed gameplay. Like that's
Yeah,
all you need to do. Just show gameplay. I don't care how crappy your graphics looks, quote unquote, right? If it's something that I know that I'm interested in, and I know that I know it's from a verified and vetted company, a la Nintendo, yeah, I definitely have my feelers up for this one. But
it
it's definitely my
it
thing.
it should be noted too that that this Metroid Dread is not. I think there's a long-awaited sequel called Metroid Prime.
Yep.
That is not this. There is still
Mm-mm.
possibly another Metroid game that is going to be a more graphics heavy game, more
Mm-hmm.
I say 4D, 3D, more modern, obviously graphics. But Metroid Dread still looks like for those for those clamoring for Metroid content, this is probably going to be a
Yeah.
fun little game. It is coming out on October 8th of this year. And
Mm-hmm.
again, unlike like JR's rant on the last episode 49,
Mm-hmm.
unlike that, where Zelda and Metroid and some of these other games did, as opposed to the PS4 and PS5 and the Xbox trailers, is they showed raw game footage. It looked like shit in
Mm-hmm.
some cases, but it's not finished. The Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild graphics looked, for what the game is, it looked terrible. But it's because they were showing game footage. They were not showing you trailers, CGI. There was some they wanted to, and they even specified this is on the bottom. This is CGI. This is what we're aiming for. This is what, and
Mm.
they even said we're not going to tease you and say, well, this is what we're going to get. This is what we're going to show, and then not deliver on this, because
Yeah.
they have delivered graphics like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
like JR just mentioned, some other stuff real quick. Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water, reveal trailer, a port of the Wii U version from 2014, available
Mm-hmm.
later this year.
Interesting.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
real quick, also JR mentioned Mario Party Superstars will launch later on this fall, most specifically on October 29th. I know that my son's gonna be stoked about that. Now, is
Mm-hmm.
this going to be a separate game, or is this going to be an update to the current Mario Party game?
I'm pretty sure it's an update to it,
Okay.
because it's also featuring a bunch of like old maps. Well, new maps, but like of old places.
Oh, that's right. I did
Yeah.
see that. Okay, that my both of my wife and my son were super stoked about that. That it was
Yeah.
very much like the old. There were game versions of the game from like the 64, the Wii, the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings us to the end of E3 officially. Like we said,
Yeah.
no announcement on a Nintendo Switch Pro,
Nope.
no Pokemon, no no Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
For those fans out there, I know that there's quite a few videos out there that are in the Animal Crossing universe on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, that are just, oh my goodness, like, oh, they're not gonna. I just think that there's nothing else really that major that they can add into that game
As of yet,
Um,
not yet.
but they could, but like I said, yeah, they could come up with something. There could be some,
Yeah.
maybe all of a sudden they do an Animal Crossing direct themselves, which they haven't done in about a year. So maybe
Mm.
later this fall they'll do something. But I just see them probably right now kind of just going through the motions, hitting all the seasonal stuff, maybe doing some new seasonal tweaks. But from what I've read about Animal Crossing is that in previous incarnations of the Animal Crossing franchise, the game lasts about 3 years, and
Yeah.
then they go and they update it. So,
Yeah.
and the
It's
game's only been
it's
out for about a year and a half.
yeah, it's in their DNA for if you have bought if you've bought previous Animal Crossings, you know what you're getting. You know what you're in for. You know what type of support they're gonna be giving for this specifically. And again, I'll say it. Nintendo isn't a big company a la Microsoft, right? Where they're able to allocate resources to so many things and by so many studios, or just overload a lot of their studios. They take their time. They take their damn time. And and usually with Nintendo, I will always say they have quality. They have quality, right?
Yeah.
Granted, some of the quality is like for people from the West, Westerners will look at it and say, oh, that's not for me, right? Because we're all about graphics. We're all about, fast paced switch shooters type of things and wanting stuff now, now, now. But for like, every, every five, A, B, and C shooter online, there's or 10 or 20, there's a Breath of the Wild. Every 10 or 20 wannabe shooter gruff guy MacGuffin that wants to kill this enemy because they I don't know, shot his dog or best friend. Right there, we get a freaking we call it. Let's get the good one. We get a Mario Galaxy,
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy, right? Like they take their time with it because these games are legit, possibly games of the generation for Nintendo. Games of generation. So yeah, let them take their time, specifically Animal Crossing, which has been doing bonkers. I mean, killing the competition.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And on top of that, actually, my friend, since we're talking the end of the E3, I know just real quick. I know it's off the top of the head, so I apologize for that. What is your bet? What's the best thing or what's the one thing that stuck out to you with this E3?
Uh, really, truly going back to episode number 49, and I highly recommend going back and watching that again. I was pleasantly surprised by Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The trailer that you showed me of that other game, where I cannot believe that they
Elden Ring,
actually was it
Elden Ring, with the one with George
was it
R. Martin.
well, it was the one with the really crappy trailer. It was just like
Oh,
they
yeah,
kept saying
yeah, chaos,
chaos. Um,
chaos.
I've learned that there is still a market for shitty ripoffs of Final Fantasy from 1994. And yeah, I just of all the games that came out, JR pointed out 90% of them showed CGI game footage, meaning footage that you'll never see in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Guardians of the Galaxy. They dared to put live gameplay out there. They played about 11 minutes of the game, showed some cutscenes, but they
Mm-hmm.
played gameplay. They also showed a really dressed up trailer, which was fine. You're Marvel, you gotta church it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like they took their time on an Avengers game. I'm hoping. I know I've talked to some people online that said that there's a possibility of of them doing like possibly being able to import some of the characters from Avengers into I don't know. Supposedly they're working on a way to get the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy games to work together. But
Okay.
nonetheless, going back to your question, I would say the Guardians of the Galaxy game was probably my biggest shocker. I really enjoyed that. And then Breath of the Wild. I want to say I didn't see it coming. I kind of did, but at the same time, when they debuted it with the
Yeah.
whole sky levels, um,
Yeah, man.
and just the even the crappy unfinished raw game footage still absolutely wrecked
Yeah.
a good portion of what game footage did come out even on the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. So,
Yeah, man.
and for you,
Uh, Yeah, I will say for me, man, like even though technically people are still giving the conference to Microsoft because of Bethesda and all that stuff, right? All of them was fucking CGI. Give me goddamn game. Give me actually goddamn fucking footage of game in game action shit, right? For me, it was Elden Ring, the game that George R. R. Martin and From Software are developing together, right?
Yeah.
Or are helping create the story, and from Software is developing. They show gameplay. They showed what the game looks like. That game was fucking amazing, as well as a PS5 game that was announced during I think the first reveal of PS5, Kina the Bridge of Spirits. That game looks like a freaking Miyazaki film, dude. I love that. I told him I think I'm pretty sure I told in the last podcast for Sony to buy Ember. I think Ember Studios, Ember Lab, which is the studio that is going to be making Kina Bridge of Spirits. Just buy them and then let them do movies. I don't care. Do that because they show gameplay. It shows on-screen gameplay. It showed what the PS5 is capable of. It showed what next gen is capable of, and it looks like a fucking amazing, beautiful game. But yeah, those two specifically are gonna be my game of the conference for me, my friend. Even though technically, Bridge of Spirits wasn't shown at E3, it happened during E3 during the E3 time. So, but yeah, man. Actually, and also, yeah, now since we're gonna moving away from E3, we're going to some movie trailers, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta say, there was a lot of freaking movie trailers, man. A
we are
lot.
getting we are getting to the summer season, which usually means that movies that are coming out later this summer, plus in the fall and in Christmas time, will get to see trailers attach themselves to the summer movie blockbuster season. And at the time of this recording, obviously, Fast and the Furious 9 came out this past weekend. Apparently, it's
Mhm.
killing it. It's one of the first big, huge
Yep.
success movies of COVID. Of course, this is one of the first major releases to get a release date
Yep.
beyond well, let's face it, beyond the California
Hmm.
shutdown. California grand reopened on June 15th. Yes, there are still some restrictions. Some places you still have to wear a mask,
Hmm.
but for the most part, businesses are back fully opened, but
Yeah.
under some light,
Slight restriction.
some slight
Mm.
restrictions. But
Yeah.
um, so Fast Nine is absolutely killing it, which I
Yep.
think is a good thing for Marvel, because we are a week and a half away from arguably one of the biggest releases of all time. I mean, this is a character that has been developed now for well over 10 years since her
Hmm.
debut in Iron Man 2. This is a character that has died already in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the end of Endgame. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Endgame. But there's a come on, there's a state of
Yeah, but
come on, it's been 2 years.
come on. Yeah.
Um, and it's on Disney Plus now. You don't have to, it's not like you can have to go see the theaters. But this is a character that's been fleshed out for over 10 years. I think, though I understand why Carol Danvers got a movie before Natasha.
Hmm.
Um, I
Hmm.
wish that I wish that they would have done this in canon order,
Uncle. Yeah.
chronological order, and done
Yeah.
this after Civil War. But again, I get why they did it this way, and maybe we'll know even more at the after this movie is over as to
Mm.
why they did it this way.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to be dealing with a kind of um, Quentin Tarantino esque storyline where there's stuff that's going to go on before her debut in Iron Man 2.
Mm.
I think you're going to deal with stuff um, after the events of Endgame. I honestly believe that they have to address her death in the movie.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and like I said, the main bulk of this movie takes place during the, as they call it, the Secret Avengers timeline, and that is between Civil War and Infinity War, when Cap, Natasha, and Falcon are underground. They're running what would be known as the Secret Avengers, kind of running underground. So uh, it'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
And
I
so
yeah.
yeah,
I feel like definitely to kind of to harken back to the point where like I will say is
oh yeah,
definitely it should uh it's definitely highly anticipated. I will
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that for a long-standing character to finally have her own freaking movie, and I have to say, I don't know why Scarlett didn't have her first movie. Didn't have. I don't know why Scarlett wasn't the first woman in the MCU to have a solo movie. I'm pretty sure there's other reasons why. Because one, Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch, freaking Black Widow is a lesser character, and it wasn't until recently, one being Scarlett Johansson becoming the character, where she's being held in a much higher regard now,
yeah.
right? She's still very much a street level character in MCU or in Marvel continuity because of just how she operates. Granted, yeah, she's been getting bigger roles now. She has her own solo. She has her own solo outings now in a lot of in prior Marvel comic runs, and yeah, she's definitely heavily involved in the Avengers and everything now in comics.
And she has a very strange history too. I mean, she is a
Absolutely.
character that is not always been a friend of the Avengers and of
Mm-hmm.
Shield. She worked with the KGB. She was a
Mm-hmm.
bad guy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but we'll talk plenty about Black Widow over the next couple of weeks. Some
Mm-hmm.
movie trailers that did come out. Halloween Kills, obviously, like we mentioned. The summer blockbuster season gives you an opportunity to really grab the attention of the most broadest audience as you can, because you have so many people going to the theaters during the summer. So this is an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. So Halloween Kills, again, continuing in the Halloween franchise. It will star Jamie Lee Curtis. It brings in
Mm-hmm.
Judy Greer, of course, Judy Greer of Ant-Man fame. Well, pretty much, you know her. You'll go like, oh yeah, her.
Mm-hmm.
But she plays Ant-Man's ex-wife
Yep.
in the Ant-Man universe. But she's been in a handful of movies. I think she's an incredibly talented actress, and she's
I
really
will. Yeah.
funny.
I will say this movie too particularly takes after right after the previous movie. It literally takes after I think it was a Halloween, whatever the last iteration was.
Which I
It's
heard was
literally right
actually,
after that movie.
which
Yeah,
I heard for all things considered was actually a
it,
better
it was
Halloween movie.
it was actually really good. The second they have Jamie Lee Curtis back, like it's flipped back again. It's is produced from the original creator of Halloween. I think it was forgot his name. His name escapes me at the moment, but
No, it's not Wes Craven.
it's not what's crazy.
No,
But
no, Wes Craven did
yeah,
Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah, it's well, I'll check it out later. But yeah, it's the original creator of Halloween is actually put
John
on as
Carpenter.
a John Carpenter.
No,
Yeah, as a yeah, it's John Carpenter. It should be John Carpenter.
God, now
It
I'm gonna have to look
is.
it up.
I'm checking it up right now. Actually, yeah, it's John Carpenter,
Okay,
and he comes on as the executive producer, right? Granted, he was on there for a couple of times, but Halloween Kills specifically, it looks really good, and I feel like if you watch the trailer, it has gone a little more spiritual in the sense of like we're giving him small hints and tidbits of why Michael Myers is surviving all the stuff he's gone through. Where they've hinted at like, him being, the more people he kills, the more he's becoming way more than human. Yeah, he's transcending human. And so here's what, yeah, it's feeling like they're trying to round out the story, and it's feeling like that you might see a pretty formidable end to the Halloween series with
yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis. It looks really good. I will say that. I was like the first time I saw a trailer or the first time I heard this trailer, right? Like, oh, okay, here we go. Another slasher movie, Halloween, blah, blah, blah. And I saw the trailer. And granted, trailers aren't usually indicative of the movie overall, but it looks good. It looks really damn good. And Jamie Lee Curtis, man, she looks phenomenal in this movie. She really freaking does. And it's looking like finally one of the things that I wanted so much for freaking the thriller genre to happen, where like if a killer's on the loose and the neighborhood knows about it, why doesn't the freaking neighborhood go after the killer themselves, right? It's looking like it's gonna happen in the movie. Like a bunch
Yeah.
of people from the neighborhood are like, why the hell are we gonna let this guy freaking kill us? Okay, everybody get your guns and bats. We're gonna hunt this motherfucker. And it's looking like they're doing that. So I'm like, freaking finally, all right, cool. Let me see that. But moving on, there is also another movie coming out, Till Death, starring Megan Fox. Now, I will say, I was pretty hesitant to watch this trailer, but when I did, I'm like, okay, cool. It looks pretty freaking interesting. It's a thriller movie as well, where Megan Fox is married to a individual, a man, and that it is a very boring marriage. From what the trailer is telling you, and that on their 10th year anniversary, he takes her up to this cabin all the way up north. It's like super cold, and like he has everything laid out and everything looks very romantic, right? And he leave messages for, honey, I know that our marriage hasn't been really exciting, whatever, but come up here, right? The
Yeah.
next morning, the next cut, she finds herself handcuffed to him, and he's dead. And it's a thriller movie, and he's leaving all these messages out for her in within the within the space, the cabin she's in, and as well as he hired two guys to come in, basically rob them, because he's put like $200,000 in a vault they have.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. I gotta say, it's a different take on the thriller genre, where like, all right, cool, you have two people. It reminds me of Safe Room, and sadly there hasn't been enough of like that type of genre films in a while. And so I'm super excited. Megan Fox is in it, guys, and she looks good. She looks really good. I'm hoping she really kicks off again, because Megan Fox has been done dirty by Hollywood for a very long fucking time, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
that she really comes back into it, swinging for the fences, man. Looks really good.
And she also kind of stuck her middle finger up to Hollywood as well. Not that they didn't deserve it.
Good for her.
So we've got Green Knight, which we did talk about a couple of
Mm.
weeks ago. Looks, I don't know. I'm gonna have to give it another watch, and I know there's now a new trailer. Looks like
Mm.
out for it. So, and I did not know that's a DC comic adaptation, or no?
No.
Was it? I thought it was.
Green,
It's not a comic adaptation.
no. Green Knight. The Green Knight is actually an Arthurian tale from a long ass
Oh,
time
I
ago.
apologize.
Long ass time ago. So, like one of the only, actually in the trailer itself, it gives you an oral history of the Green Knight.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, and so one of the author who made Chronicles of Narnia or something like that, right? A very famous British Christian author. He actually transcribed the original Green Knight into what it is today, and so that's why you
Okay,
have all these novels.
now you got me interested.
Yeah, and so Green Knight oral history. It's is the concept of chivalry. It's the concept of being honorable and all that stuff. And so now they have this movie out, and it looks really really good. I gotta say, it has to do with Sir Gawain, I think. Yes, Sir Gawain, who is one of the Knights of the Round Table. And you see all the heads there: Lancelot, Arthur, uh I forgot Arthur's wife's name, but she's there.
Guinevere.
Guinevere, uh Morgan Le Fay, which I think if I remember correctly, that's Gawain's mother. And they also have the famous, I forget his name, dude, Arthur's famous wizard.
Oh, I can't think of it now.
Yeah, but he's in there too. And so, but it is
Oh,
actually just
Merlin.
starring Merlin. There you go. But
Merlin.
it's just starring for the only, I guess, name on here. I'm pretty sure there's other names on there, but the main name on there is going to be Dev Patel. Dev Patel was in a bunch of other movies. He was in Million Dollar Baby, not Million Dollar Baby, but Slumdog Millionaire. He was on 3 seasons of The Newsroom, which is one of my favorite TV series on HBO. And I think he was in a bunch of other movies after that. But Dev Patel, like, he's headlining this, so I'm excited for it, man. In theaters this July 30th. So
now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of trailer season. We got to see a new Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins trailer come out. We talked about that one. We'll have to post that on our Facebook page. But I'll be honest with you, it looks like a lot of fun. But I think that for me, I think that Snake Eyes is going to be a wait till it comes out on streaming. For me, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not going out to the theaters a lot right now, so we're kind of choosing to lay low. But no, it does look like fun. We saw that original trailer from a couple of months ago, and it does look like a lot of fun. They kind of do the character a little bit more justice than in previous versions. Yep. And so looking forward to that. But we did get to see a little bit more in depth um of a movie that I know that you and I are, especially you, are. This is something you have been waiting for 10 plus years, and that
Yeah.
is um kind of cultural recognition in the genre, in the comic book genre landscape, so to speak. And though
Mhm.
there has been pop culture characters, massive pop culture characters that come from uh, the Asian continent,
Mm.
nothing at the level of what Marvel Studios has done since 2008. And we get to see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out this September. And we get to see probably one of the biggest trailers so far for the movie hit. We got to see
Mhm.
a little bit more in depth of what the story is going to tell between Shang-Chi and his father. Do we know if it's well, I know in the comic books his character was it Fu Manchu, or was that
Yeah.
a
Fu Manchu. Fu Manchu was
obviously
his father.
they're doing away with that
No.
character because
Yeah.
that character is not politically correct in this day and age, and
Yeah.
second of all, the character is technically not even owned by Marvel. It's owned
Yeah.
by a separate publishing company that was on loan to Marvel back in the 30s or 40s, I think.
Yeah. Some crazy. Yeah.
Or no, the 40s or the 50s. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There, it sounds to me, from what I understand, is that they're going to make it sound like that Shang-Chi's father is the Mandarin.
Mhm.
Um, spoiler alert. But we do get to see a little bit more of that story evolve. Shang-Chi's upbringing, what the Ten Rings means to on this side of the veil. We've known for the last 10 plus years that the Ten Rings is a terrorist group. It's a terrorist group that was responsible for kidnapping both Tony Stark and the scientist that helped Tony create the original Iron Man Mach 1 armor.
Mhm.
Um, Mark 1, so I apologize. We do know that the Ten Rings also were responsible for, well, technically was responsible for uh, what's his name? Killian, the guy that
Oh
headed
yeah.
AIM. They basically infiltrated AIM. They were
Yeah.
responsible for trying to take over the U.S. government, trying to overthrow the president. Um, they've been kind of said they've been all over the place quietly, being one of the world's largest terrorist organizations. And to me, what it sounds like, having again going back and watching um, the Marvel Netflix shows, which we now know as the Marvel Knights saga,
Mhm.
um, is to me, I think we're going to see the Ten Rings in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We're going to see something similar to what we saw with the Hand in the Marvel Netflix shows, where the Hand was always a bad group of, for lack of better terms, ninjas that wanted to overthrow world governments and push drugs and guns and stuff like that. That they wanted to be the puppeteers to world government organizations. To me, I think, and then there was a good side, which was, I think, was the chase, and there was the bad side, which was the ones that wanted to overthrow. And we found out, obviously, they're kind of one and the same, but like
Mhm.
characters like Stick and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't think of the other. Anyways, there's a good and a bad side. I think that's what we're going to see. Is we're going to see there's Shang-Chi's father is going to try to say, like, oh no, this is what it's about, blah 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 blah. That's just my guesstimation, but we got to see a cool trailer again. Saw the
Mhm.
father son dynamic. Now, I got to ask you this question because there's mixed reviews online about the dragon that we see underwater with Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
Um, there are multiple different dragons in the Marvel universe. We know
Mhm.
there's one that you need to slay to become the Iron Fist, correct?
Yep.
There's like the guardian
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Kung Lao.
Mm. Yeah.
There is, of course, the most famous dragon in the Marvel universe, Fing Fang Foom, which
Mhm.
for some reason, some people say that may not be politically correct.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I don't know. Do you know of one?
It's because when Fu Manchu and Fing Fang Foom are Chinese derivatives of just yeah. There's a history of them. There's a reason why. It's just Come on, yeah. It's Fing Fem Foom and Fu Manchu are basically American derivatives of like of them making fun of the Mandarin language, and so yeah, it is absolutely not a thing. It will be like the closest thing I would say if uh if somehow you would take some English dialect, right? Let's say John Smith, right? And then made John Smith into Hitler,
Might be a
right?
slight reach, but I get your point.
It's a slight reach, sure, but then like in the sense of like, okay, oh John Smith, oh you must be a Nazi then because all that. It's like it's adding on to a sense of like slight racism, but people
Yeah.
aren't trying to be racist. Like, oh, it's like a word, like Fu Manchu. Like, nah, bro, there's history with that word. So yeah, Fu Manchu and Fing Fang Foom, they are definitely derivatives of, and this is going on to like San Francisco riots, the hanging of Chinese men in San Francisco from like the 1980s, 1918s, something like that. And so yeah, there's a big different reason why they broke away from that. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, going back, I finally found it. The Green Knight
Mm-hmm.
was adapted by Tolkien, which
Token.
was,
Yeah.
of course, the writer of the Hobbit movies
Yeah.
or the Hobbit
Yeah.
books. God,
Yeah.
dang it, Kevin, they were books before they were movies. Stupid.
Yeah.
But so I decided I was looking that up.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that this dragon that we saw
Mhm.
for the to kind of I don't think it's a spoiler because we don't know for sure until we see the movie in September.
Mhm.
Is the Great Protector or the Protector? It is a legendary dragon that I guess protects this area of I guess China that the movie's going to take place in or wherever. So, but
Mm.
for those of you who are going, oh my gosh, it's Fing Fang Foom. I don't think it is. I think
No.
it is
It,
going to be the Protector.
yeah.
Is another dragon that is in Marvel mythos. But
Mm.
there was a couple of small Easter eggs that I don't think were too difficult to notice. Did you see the major returning character that was at the end of the trailer?
Mhm.
You see who it was?
Both of them actually, Abomination, and of course you finally see where the hell Wong was for all this goddamn time. So
Oh,
that's cool to see.
I missed Wong. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch it again.
Are you serious?
But
The guy that Abomination went against, right? He drew up a circle, and people are saying he drew up a sorcerer circle in order to block his punch, and some people are saying that's Wong, right? Well,
is it
because
Wong or is it Mordo? Was
no,
it was it
Mordo, it's not
Mordo's
Mordo.
black? Okay,
Mordo, well, one with that and like Mordo, he's out of it. Why would he be there in
yeah.
continuity ways? And yeah, people are saying, well, because Wong's Asian and he's closer there, he might be them. That's probably the closest representation to that. But yeah, from what people are saying, it's Wong and Abomination. Abomination, cool. Looks very comic s. He's just closer to comics than he was in the previous Hulk movie solo outing. So that's good.
But yeah, I did notice that was kind of cool. You see the Abomination, and
Hmm.
I really think too that um, the arena that they're in, that kind of that underground fight club arena that they're in, is
Yeah.
definitely going to be Madripoor. I know that um,
Mm,
the Abomination is and the actor who plays the Abomination is scheduled to return in multiple upcoming Marvel properties. This was
good.
not one of the advertised ones. And now it's gonna bug me who the actor was. But
Right.
we do know that Abomination is scheduled um, to reappear in the Marvel. I think to be honest with you, I believe he is going to be in the new She-Hulk movie.
Oh,
But
it's be good setup for it to do so. Yeah, it'll be good setup to do so. And just my thoughts. I'm pretty sure you asked my thoughts about Shang
Tim
Chi and
Roth is who I was thinking of. Tim Roth.
Tim Roth. Cool. Really? Tim Roth was Tim Roth?
Tim Roth was Blonsky and the
Yeah,
Abomination.
yeah. I'm thinking of Eli Roth. Never mind. Yeah,
And
I
yes,
think
he
you're
is
right.
scheduled to be in. He is advertised to be Emil Blonsky slash the Abomination in almost every episode of She-Hulk.
Good, good.
Whoa, that's gonna be, according to IMDb, that's gonna be a 10 episode series.
It's good, good. I was
So,
like,
all right,
I was,
cool.
if anything, it'll probably be for your average 24, 30-minute episodes type of thing, which is fine.
It's just
Uh,
fun.
which is fine. But going back onto your thing, I'm pretty sure you asked me like if the relevancy of Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. Granted, I'm pretty sure I've said prior to this, rather trying not to undercut you, my dude, but I'm hesitant because I know because for me being, even though I am Asian, I'm a different type of Asian. I'm Filipino. Hi. Salamat to all those who are watching, who are listening to us from the Philippines. Thank you
No
guys for your support and all
disrespect.
that.
I've got cousins that are Japanese. Filipinos are starting to win me over as my favorite Asians.
Hey man, uh, China and Philippines got some stuff going on. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
And so I this film is great. I will say just overall is great for the age community. And yeah, cool. I'll try to rip it out. But to try to like look past that and to try to look past this inevitable rift between China and the Philippines in what China is doing to the Philippines right now, or have been doing in the last 5-10 years now. Like I can't look past that, really,
Yeah.
for me being Filipino. Because like I understand, because come on, dude, we've been in this game too long already. We know what this freaking play is. All this really is Marvel trying to get in, or Disney trying to get into that Chinese market.
Oh no, and they know, we've said this
Yeah,
before, that
absolutely.
a movie that succeeds in the Chinese market is,
It's gonna win.
it's gonna
So
win.
yeah. So
They're gonna
here's the
make their
thing,
money
like
back.
I know I understand like the relevancy of like having an Asian hero. But like for the people that constantly have talked about, oh, not my president, or not my whatever XYZ, whatever the fuck you want to do it.
The
This ain't my
hashtag not my
yeah,
movement. Yeah.
yeah, this is not my Asian hero, bro. Like, cool, man. It's great that we have more voices out there. And like I'm still kind of looking forward to it, don't get me wrong, man. But like Simu Liu, the more I read about this guy, the more I hear about him, man, like it's kind of irritating. He's not a bad guy in general. It's just more so
No.
like this. This is the guy for me that I read up saying, right, that he's the one that constantly brings up, that brought up Shang-Chi, right, to Marvel from tweets and all this stuff, right, years ago, right? Hey, Marvel, that's great. You have a black character or this, that. Why not bring an Asian character, right? Shang-Chi, me. But then he done interviews before by saying that, oh man, I wish Marvel did more original characters. When I think of Shang-Chi, oh, it's so derivative. I'm like, bro, what the freak? You're the one campaigning for this stuff, bro. I'm like, it's for me, right? For me, out of this whole thing, the better quote unquote Asian hero is actually Henry Golding from Snake Eyes GI Joe Origins. For
Yeah.
me, for me,
But I know that that's where, you kind of, I know that's your style, of Asian character.
yeah. Well, here's also the thing too, because since people want to bring up like wanting proper representation, right? I've always, you and I, we've always been talk. We always talk about cool representation is cool, but we also want if the actor is worth their salt, right? Type of thing, right? If the actor or actress is worth their weight in salt. I didn't, if Simu Liu can play Shang-Chi correctly and he can carry a film, great, awesome. That's add that to the stable of the Marvel cast, right? Henry Golding, that dude can carry a movie.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like a lot of people were giving hate to Henry Golding being one Asian and two, they wanted Snake Eyes to be a white guy, right? And this whole thing of like, oh, we're giving another representation bullshit of giving another character, another person, the white role. And we
Wasn't
hear
Snake Eyes originally an Asian character in the comic or the cartoon?
no, he was a white dude. He was a white dude.
Okay.
And we saw his face, blonde hair, really jacked up. I think right or left eye. And then he got surgery, and then he looks a scarred up blonde haired guy, right? And people are saying that, oh, that's not comic continuity, that's not comic accurate. Like, bro, if the guy can act, if the guy can do a switch kick, can do jumping and tumbling, and looks good in the outfit, right? And not only that, but sell the movie, and can continue a franchise which I felt like probably should have died when I felt like was dead the second that freaking what's the name uh the guy who goes, "My name is Jeff" from My Name Jeff. What's the name?
Oh my gosh, I can't think.
But him, right? The second that he
Yeah,
left the movie and talked trash about it, I'm like, all right, cool. G.I. Joe's probably dead, right? But you have Henry Golden come back and say, "Nah, I got this," and I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. I'm more excited for GI Joe Origins with Snake Eyes than I am for Shang Chi, in the sense of me being Asian, right? But I do know for a damn fact that Shang Chi is probably gonna blow Snake Eyes out of the freaking water,
it
just because
it,
it's
it
Marvel.
is because and it's Marvel and GI Joe has been kind of a fledgling franchise.
Yeah.
The Rock really couldn't even save it. Um, though I've never seen that movie. I've always wanted to see that version of GI Joe.
Yeah.
Um, I will say this that at least for cultural representation in the overarching Asian community, I think that Shang-Chi is going to open doors.
Mhm.
Though nothing has officially been said, I think
Yeah.
that this is going to open doors because for those who don't know Marvel continuity, meaning the comic continuity,
Mhm.
is that as of late, we know that um, more there have been a growing number and I know this is the people go like, oh, it's the SJWs, blah blah blah.
Uh,
They have to. They have to. They can't write the same comics over and over and over again. You
yeah.
can't have Tony Stark coming back from the dead again and again. You can't have Steve Rogers coming back from the dead again and again. You can't. And
Yeah.
and I know that I can't think of the writer's name now. Nick Spencer, I think it was, did a great
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
at revigorating the character by doing the Hydra cap and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Jason Aaron did a great job um,
Thor.
with Thor and with Jane Foster and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
just probably one of the absolute greatest writers in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have oh my gosh, the guy that did Black Panther,
Oh, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Tanahashi Coates, though he did
Yeah.
not quote, I guess he didn't change up the character, but he brought the character to more prominence to the
Yeah.
point where it got its own freaking movie.
Yeah. Which is
And
great.
I
Which is
think
great.
what Shang-Chi is going to do is bring a major group of Asian characters to the forefront. Also, we know that but Echo's actually, I think Echo's Native American. Um,
Yeah.
but we are going to be introduced to
Probably Agents of
more
New
proper,
Agents of Atlas. Yeah.
of course, the Agents of Atlas. We have seen Jimmy Woo, is Jimmy Woo Chinese or Japanese, or no, or is he something else?
Chinese. I think he's Mandarin. I think he's mainland China. If not, it
Okay,
sounded like it.
but we do know that there are some of the major characters. I would, Echo is the Native American.
Okay.
That's going to be
Yep.
in. She's going to be in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But who is the Arrow? Is it Aero? Is that the Filipino character?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so there's quite a few characters. Like I said, though they've never officially said anything. Kevin Feige's kind of playing footsie around the idea, and I think he's kind of like wink, wink. We've got stuff coming down the pipeline. I mean, now
Yeah.
that he has Disney Plus, there's so much he can do with
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about the proper representation, quote unquote, right, or just more so, just showing more eyes out there to like, hey, there's some great stars that are not just white, right? There are some great
Yeah,
stars that are not just these that just fit these small roles, right? Great. I'm happy for that. I'm down for that, man. And to kind of harken back to your little tidbit about you saying that you can't have the same movie over and over. It's hilarious to me. The greatest irony is like the same people that say, "Oh my gosh, can't believe they're making another sequel," is the same fucking people are saying, "Oh, why can't they just do it like why can't they just do it like just redo the story? My Spider-Man should be having Uncle Ben and all this stuff, right?" And like it's the same people that want the old stories regurgitated over and over again. Yeah, it's just hilarious to me, right?
yeah,
And yeah, but other than that, man, great. I'm more than happy to. I'm more than happy that that Simu Liu sure is getting the role. I'm happy. I'm more than happy that there are more Asian actors and actresses coming into the biggest freaking studio of all time.
absolutely.
Quite honestly, And I'm way happy that there are not just in those studios, but like in other studios too. Okay, I'm looking at Henry Goldie. I'm looking at possibly more. What's her name, dude? She was in. You'll know her name. The girl that helped out Iron Fist. What's her name?
Oh, I know you're gonna ask it because that's my new crush.
Yeah, Cindy
Ah,
something when. Very her. I know she's in a lot more stuff now too that is not associated with Marvel with other things. So I'm happy for that. She was actually in Game of Thrones too. So I'm
yes.
like, great, cool, awesome. We have more of those characters, man. So hopefully we'll find a freaking actual Filipino character for me, man. A male Filipino character that is masculine. And that's not just, nothing wrong with feminine Filipino men. It's just that for me, I want to see my full on heroes of my village or heroes of like that fought against America during our Filipino American War that they had to freaking create a bullet just for us to kill us. Yeah, I know about that history too, my guy. They made a bullet just to kill Filipinos because every time they shot at us, we were still getting up and still coming after you. But then they made the new bullet, I think, which is the 45. You made the 45 for us or the 44, one of those ones. But yeah, that's neither here or there. We're going on.
Okay,
Titan.
moving right along. We have Titan season 3
Yep.
coming to HBO Max on August 12th, 2 days before my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to post my maybe I'll have to post my Amazon wish list to for some birthday ideas. I'm still not caught up on that. It looks interesting. I remember when they released Titan season 1 for DC Universe back a few years ago at Comic-Con. And of course the famous "fuck Batman."
Mm-hmm.
It's different. We know now that the Titans universe does exist within the CW's Arrowverse continuity because of Crisis on Infinite Earths. It looks, like you said, it looks pretty good. Stars
Mm-hmm.
Brenton Thwaitis,
Yeah,
um, Anna
who's
Diop, Tegan Croft, and Ryan
Nightwing.
Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so guys, don't go into this show, by the way, thinking you're going to see Teen Titans Go or even Teen Titans. This is a
Yeah.
dark, rated R version of the comic book Teen Titans, but it is more of the grown up Titans. These are these are not your typical sidekicks. These are grown ups superheroes within a very much rated R DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the DC universe, we got to see yet another trailer as we inch ever so closer to the release on HBO Max and in theaters of James Gunn's Suicide Squad. And
Yep.
this last trailer created a little bit of controversy. Of course, we know that the movie is directed by James Gunn, famous for the Guardians of the Galaxy. It stars Idris Elba, John Cena, Margot Robbie, and Viola Davis.
Yep.
Viola Davis, of course, playing the biggest bitch in the DCEU, and she plays it well.
Amanda
Um,
Waller.
but there was a line in the trailer
Yep.
as Amanda Waller is explaining who the hell Bloodsport is, and he says he's the guy who put Superman in the ICU.
Yep.
And I guess a group of fans
Huge group.
have started
Huge
to
group.
say that why in the blue hell would Bloodsport, who is a trained assassin, who is a
Mm-hmm.
much like Deadshot, is
Mm-hmm.
a guy who does not miss much.
Mm-hmm.
And in the comic books and in apparently in James Gunn's DCEU, he takes a shot and wins against good old Clark Kent with a kryptonite bullet. And
Yep.
fans are up in arms saying it's not how it happened. Blah blah blah. That could never happen. Blah 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 blah. But James Gunn, being the comic book nerd he is, he showed him up. And according to your research, Jr., there is a 1980s issue of Superman comics that depicts
Yep.
Superman being put in the ICU.
Yeah, man, he did. It was it was funny because yeah, of course, you have a lot of. I gotta say it. I just gotta freaking say it, man. There's this toxic fucking group of DCEU fans. Honestly, they're Snyder fans who tout Snyder's films as fucking godsends, as like their holy bible, as like the greatest movies of all freaking time. Absolute freaking nonsense, obviously,
They're
right?
good.
And they're good, but come on, stop, type of thing, right? Like they would tout their films over Nolan's Batman trilogy, right? I'm like, stop, bro. And so you have like a pretty big division of these fans saying that, oh, which continuity is that? That would never happen. Superman would just snatch the bullet from their hands right in the air and just like do nothing to it. Like you think that like, oh, that's just lazy writing, whatever. Like, no, bro, that came from comics. That came from the comics. Superman's made like his one weakness that's been shown, or actually one of his weaknesses, because magic's the other one. People freaking tend to forget that, is that kryptonite is generally a weakness to Kryptonians. People forgot about that, and that for some dumbass reason, freaking Zack Snyder forgot to implement that in any of his first movie. They had some of it in Batman vs Superman, when Batman, of course, used the kryptonite gas on Superman,
And they had a spear too.
and he had a spear, but like people are saying that, oh, that could never happen, right? Why Superman would never? It's happened in the comics. It was like a 1980, like late 1980s, right? Superman, where you'd see Bloodshot, Bloodsport shoot Superman, and he gets hit in the chest. And next
Yeah.
and one of the next pages, you see him in the ICU healing up. Jimmy Olsen comes to visit him, right? You see Superman, we see a bandage over his chest and everything, and he's trying to dress up, saying they can't go either. And it says, it shows one of the panels, ICU. So it's legit. It's comic canon. And so people are trying to debate that, like, oh, just because it's from the comics doesn't mean it's good. I'm like, but it's canon, homie. I don't care. It's canon. It happened. And the one thing that you got to know about James Gunn and his whole run, or his whole freaking history with Suicide Squad, and from being an actual fucking fan of it, is that the man does his homework. The man does his
Absolutely.
fucking homework. And so I feel like this huge outrage of all these fans coming out by saying that, oh, that's not my Superman. I'm like, bro, you don't read the comics. You only watch Snyder films. Period. You're these guys, you're the cats that come on and say that fucking the Snyder cut of Batman vs Superman, or no, Justice League, is the greatest fucking thing of all time. Stop it, homie. Stop it. Sit the fuck down and just be happy that it actually even came out. Period, bro. Like, just stop it.
Yeah.
The Superman, I'm gonna say this, all right. For those who have listened to us up to this point, know for a fact I hate fucking Mary Sue's. I hate Mary Sue characters. Ray, freaking, what's her name? Brie Larson's freaking Captain Marvel, and way many others. The original Mary Sue, right? Or actually the male version of this is Superman. The original fucking Mary Sue's Superman. You gotta acknowledge. You have to fucking acknowledge that the first superhero was given basically nearly no invulnerabilities. Always comes in, does the quote unquote right thing, and seems the moral arbiter of good, is the original Mary Sue, because he is designed to not lose. That's a boring ass character.
Well, you got to take into consideration is that the character, when it was created in was it like 1938, it was designed. It was a character that was that Simon and Schuster wrote for a newspaper. It was not designed. It was just a basic character. And
Fuck.
then
Here's the thing I say that. Fuck their consideration, man. Like yes, Superman is possibly the oldest superhero of all time, and in those years, he's giving you all these fucking crazy ass superpowers. And because, thank you for actually introducing that, because he was made in 1938, 1939. And then going onwards, he was getting so many superpowers. I'm talking about Silver Age Superman was one of these fucking strongest motherfuckers everywhere.
yeah,
He sneezed and blew out a galaxy, right? Pre-crisis Superman, which is this Superman right here. No, post-crisis. Post-crisis Superman, which is, I think, 1985 to I think before Flashpoint. Yeah, this Superman that got shot. He was possibly even stronger than Silver Age Superman. He held a freaking black hole in his hand. Right? He held a mini black hole in his hand in front of the Justice League, right? He was able to blot out suns. He was able to do all this crazy ass shit. And this is the same Superman that got shot by a radiated bullet, by a Kryptonian bullet to the chest, and was rushed to the ICU. Thank God he was given weaknesses, man, because this dude is the biggest power fantasy of all freaking time. And people gotta acknowledge that, man. Like,
yeah.
yo, if your hero doesn't have weaknesses, your hero is not a hero, bro. He's not someone to aspire. He's a fucking god that you're supposed to freaking worship, bro. And that's not superheroes, man. So stop it with your
and and
nonsense, man.
and that's why I kind of liked when they brought in Doomsday, and that's what
Yeah.
intrigued me so much to um to Superman when you know, like I said, when it was said that, oh, Superman died, I'm like, well, how do you kill that which can't be killed? And that was when I was introduced. Like, I didn't know about the whole, like, his powers derived from Earth's yellow sun. um
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't like he was just all of a sudden a superhero and he was invulnerable, and he was invulnerable for years.
Yeah.
But and they said to make it more interesting, they just tweaked his powers a little bit and said, okay, he is able to
Mm-hmm.
be beaten, and obviously he can be shot, stabbed,
Mm-hmm.
cut, whatever, with kryptonite.
Beating the fuck
um
up.
but then when you
Mm.
get someone like, and that's what's funny was, like, I remember reading over and over and over and over again Death of Superman, going, how in the hell did Doomsday beat him? Was he made of kryptonite? And he wasn't. He was just so strong. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
the argument for so many years has been who would win in a fight between Superman and the Incredible Hulk. And you know what? It probably would be a pretty damn close fight, because Hulk, who is half human and half um,
Mm.
monster, rage monster.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's slightly different between him and Doomsday, because Doomsday in the comic books was an alien
Yeah.
being. Didn't have any magic, but just had such brute strength
Yeah.
that he beat him to a pulp that he could not re-energize. And that's
Yeah.
what made it interesting. Is like, okay, how do you kill? Like I said, how do you kill that which that cannot be which that can't be killed? And just, you beat him to a pulp. You beat him to the point where he's so doggone tired. And then
Mm.
people go like, well, how did he come back to life? Well, you give a guy a long enough nap, he's gonna
Yep.
recharge.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
but yeah, they've made him a little bit more interesting. um
Yeah.
and they've honed in his powers a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem
I don't.
with the blood sport thing,
No.
because it's just like Deadshot. Deadshot um tried to get in some shots on Batman. Deadshot tried to get in some shots on Batman and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it just makes it more interesting, and you got a character, and I think Idris Elba is going to
Yeah,
play it
yeah.
quite well.
I feel it's just this, man. Like these fake ass gatekeepers that are trying to just like say what's right and what's not right for something that honestly they have no fucking clue about, right? They
Yeah,
have no absolute. It would be like it would on. I think the closer representation of this is like people who read the books like me, right, from Harry Potter, or let's say Harry Potter is actually a pretty big example, but Avatar, The Last Airbender, right?
yeah,
It was like it'd be like me who watched the original Nickelodeon show, right? And for
yeah.
someone else who didn't watch Nickelodeon show but just watched the movie and said, "Oh man, that's great. That's a fucking masterpiece. That's awesome." Avatar, the last Airbender, the movie, and then they're saying, "Oh, that's better than whatever. It's better than than whatever have you, right? He can do whatever the fuck." No, motherfucker, that's piece of trash. And them trying to argue against me by saying that, "Oh, why would that be a piece of trash?" Well, because this fucking Aang in the movie is so fucking depowered. It's so weak compared to the actual Aang in the cartoon. It's the exact same thing. This Superman in DCEU is much weaker. Yes, he's much weaker than comic book Superman by by like 1,000. He's way weaker than by some insane amount. If and as well, just put a pin in this fucking rant. Everyone in this series in the DCEU is much weaker than their comic book counterpart. If somehow Superman can keep up with the Flash, that's a fucking travesty. It's a fucking travesty, right? If somehow Superman can keep up with the Flash, the fastest living thing in the DCEU or in the DC comic universe, it's a fucking travesty. The man went from the edge of universe, near the edge of universe, to Earth when everybody clapped. That's speed, not time travel, not teleportation,
Yeah.
not anything. It's insane, bro. So like calm down, Zack Snyder fans. Yeah, James Gunn is gonna really shine a really good light, a fun light on the DCEU. Finally, show some good characters. Right, there has been some great characters. Don't get me wrong, but like finally show a lot more levity in these, more brevity in these characters now, and I'm super looking forward to it. And and Suicide Squad is set to release on HBO Max and in theaters on August 6th. So definitely looking out for that one.
Moving right along real quick before we go into our episode number 50 look back segment. There was some sneak peek pictures that came off the set of Flashpoint. That's what we're going to call it for the time being. We get to see Sasha Cale?
Uh, Kale, I think, yeah, her.
Calais?
I forgot her.
In costume
She's
as
Spanish, yeah.
Supergirl. I ain't mad at it. Looks
Yep,
awesome. Looks like
it's
a
good.
badass costume.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing that come out of that, other than that costume, was Bruce Wayne was on set.
Yeah,
And
man.
not just any Bruce Wayne. No, we're not talking Ben Affleck. We're definitely not talking about Christopher Nolan, or I'm sorry, Christian Bale, though don't be surprised if all of a sudden he does show up on set. We're not talking George Clooney. We're not talking Val Kilmer. We are talking, and definitely not talking about Adam West because unfortunately he's dead. We are talking about the OG from Tim Burton's Batman. It is Michael Keaton on set as Bruce Wayne, talking with Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller, on set of Flashpoint, and of course, it was the same scene that we got to see Sasha Cale, Supergirl, kind of looks like floating down onto these steps, so to speak. But we also got to see, for a lack of a better term, a new Batmobile. It was not an actual Batmobile, but if you pay attention to the design of it, is a brand new, kind of a modern-esque, what's the word I'm looking for? Concept car from Mercedes.
Yeah.
And if you look closely at the design of it, very much Batmobile-esque. Kind of a long front end to the car, more of a cockpit cab to the car. Very cool looking. And you get to see kind of the silver fox that is Bruce Wayne being played by Michael Keaton, with the salty hair, not too much pepper in that hair piece there. But I'm stoked. I mean, this could be.
Looks good.
It just looks good. He
Looks good,
looks, Michael Keaton is such a versatile actor. You
Yeah.
look at him playing movies like Multiplicity, where he played, multiple different characters and stuff like that. But he's kind of the goofball, kind of the comedy guy. And then you see him in this diabolical, very creepy, murderous, thriller-esque role as, what's the first name? Not first name of the Vulture. Something Toombs.
I forgot, man.
Anyways, him playing the Vulture character in Spider-Man: Homecoming. And then you look back at Tim Burton's Batman. Yeah, he has his goofy moments, but he's very just kind of just like stoic and just quiet, and kind of he sits there and thinks. And the look, the facial expressions on Michael Keaton's face, just that's Bruce Wayne. That's the Bruce Wayne we know from 1989. That's the Bruce Wayne we know from 1991, 92's Batman Returns. And it is. He's such a versatile actor. He's so good. And I know that we're just judging this based on stills from these leaked photos, but I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked.
You're also thinking about Adrian Toombs, Vulture.
Adrian Toombs. There you go.
I gotta say, I'm super excited for him. And the director of the movie actually released a small little video, a small little snapshot on his Instagram, where I showed a picture of a photo of the costume that, of course, the Sasha Cale dons in the movie, and it shows the famous House of L shield, right? That famous S on the chest type of Superman logo, man. And I gotta say, it looks good. Some people are gonna. Some people are shitting on it, right? Because like, oh my gosh, it looks like Spider-Man, right? But then at the same time, like we got a fucking full on, just straight up blue Superman suit, latex from 2016. So like, it's not too crazy. It's not too out of the waters. Like, yeah, it looks good to me. And the crazy thing about it too is that a lot of people are kind of hating on Sasha, are hating on this concept because they wanted their Supergirl to be a blonde Valley girl, and that was interesting for me. Where now we have the opposite of what happens, where like or we have this current thing that happens of like when people aren't given the quote unquote recognition, not recognition, but like given the roles, like saying that I can't believe that people are taking my Supergirl should be a blonde girl. And if people haven't realized that this is an Elseworld Supergirl, a different variation of Supergirl, and that if it's the Injustice Supergirl, right, from the video games, for those who don't freaking know, Lana and no Lois and Clark in a within the Injustice universe, right, in a alternate in a what if scenario, if Clark didn't go crazy because Joker killed his wife and unborn daughter, this would have happened. This girl you see on the comic panel is a black-haired Supergirl that looks very similar to what Sasha Kale looks like.
Yeah,
Injustice.
this is you got to understand too is this is what I'm getting people that were hating on it. I was like, do you not see who else is in the audience? It is Bruce Wayne, played by Michael Keaton. This is from the Batman 89 universe. In the
Mm-hmm.
Batman 89 universe, and I'm going why I'm calling it, I'm sorry, Earth 89. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why I'm calling that, because that's what it's referred to in the
Mm-hmm.
Crisis on Infinite Earths, where the Tim Burton
Yep.
Batman is made canon in the CW's Arrowverse. Okay,
Great.
within the multiverse of the within the multiverse. So Earth 89 is the Earth that Bruce Wayne, played by though Michael Keaton did not make an appearance in the miniseries,
Mm-mm.
but his Earth
There's
is
reference.
Earth 89.
Yeah.
And we saw references to it, just like we saw Burt Ward's version of Robin on Earth 66,
Yeah.
which of course references Batman 66, the
Yeah.
famous Mike Adam West
Yeah.
Batman. Or sorry, yeah. So, anyways,
That
so
makes sense.
the Earth 89 universe never had a Superman. Okay, we never got to see a Superman within that Batman universe. We definitely didn't get to see a Supergirl or
Mm-mm.
anybody resembling the House of L. So, like Jr. said, and we also know this, that there is an Elseworld coming, that the Snyderverse going forward is going to be the main continuity. It's going to be the main Earth to the DCEU, and
Mm.
that stuff like Shazam 2, Black Adam, Wonder Woman 3, Aquaman 2, that those movies going forward, though their predecessors connected loosely, but connected to the DCEU and the
Mm.
Snyderverse, they're going to be considered Elseworld comics, basically part of a multiverse. So, and that's what Flashpoint's going to address
Yeah.
is the multiverse and stuff like that. So, anyone
Yeah.
who has a problem with this, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I want to see the blonde hair, blue eyed Supergirl that we've known
Mm.
for generations. But I'm okay with seeing
Yeah.
this one because I know it exists in an alternate universe. It does not
Yeah.
exist in the main continuity.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I gotta say, man, these are definitely people that have not fucking picked up a comic book. I
or
gotta
just
say,
follow their own continuity.
yeah,
They don't read into it and know that if they're going, oh wait a minute, that's Ezra Miller, but we don't know what point of the movie that they're filming right now, and
yeah,
they don't look at the obvious. Your
yeah,
main Batman is played by Ben Affleck.
yeah. It's weird to see this type of like animosity towards because it's twofold, right? And it kind of pissed me off because a lot of the scrutiny comes from one, she's not the blonde Supergirl, and two, she's Latina. That irritated the hell out of me when I see this crap, right? Because one, y'all have no understanding that in a different universe in DC continuity, there's a girl named Sir L. Sir L has black hair. She is the actual child of Lois Lane and Clark Kent from a different freaking universe. You see her in comic continuity. There's also in comic continuity, I think Earth 11, which is basically the gender swap versions of all the Justice League, where you have Clark Kent look like exactly what the Supergirl character is right now. If you go back to right now, she looks exactly like her.
Yeah.
Right, Earth 11 Superwoman looks like her. Like, stop it, dude. These are these fucking guys. Like, again, bro. Like, I think you and I talked about it a long time ago of people like jumping on this train of like wanting to make it like the old ways, right? Of like, oh, why can't my Superman be white, or why can't my whatever be this color or whatever? But they haven't fucking never picked up a comic book. They never really actually saw the continuity and see what the fuck's like, bro. Like, bro, you're freaking gatekeeping for the wrong fucking reasons, man. My Supergirl that I grew up with, absolutely, is a Jim Lee version where she's that, she has that short skirt, blonde hair, Cali girl, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen her enough in the Supergirl TV series. I've seen her enough in Justice League or Justice League animated series. I've seen her enough in all these other iterations that I'm happy with. Where if I see Sasha Calais do a Supergirl, I'll be intrigued because there has been a minute. I would love to see more good DC movies. If she's in this movie and she makes it really freaking good, great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick and tired of these fucking folks, dude, who just try to gatekeep for no damn reason because this girl doesn't look like the girl that I have in my head. Fuck this person. Fuck out of here, dog.
Honestly, until you had said something, I really hadn't even thought about it and didn't have a problem with it. Again, don't get me wrong. I like the what's her name? Benoist.
Oh yeah, Melissa Benoist.
Melissa Benoist. I like her. She, to me, you look at her and that's the traditional Supergirl. I'm okay with it. This
TV
one,
show sucks.
Sasha, I don't have a problem with it.
TV show is fucking terrible, but the actress who played her is fucking awesome.
It's awesome, and I would love to see. Like I said, I would love to see, now that we know that for the most part the greater DCEU and the movie universes exist within the Arrowverse. I would love to see the Arrowverse, and especially a movie like like Flashpoint, where Ezra Miller was in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I would love. Right now, what's the director's name? Andy Muschietti.
Yeah.
I'm Whatever.
Not gonna butcher his last name.
Andy, listen right here. Looky eye. We want Arrowverse characters in Flashpoint. Yeah, bring it on. Oh my God, the collective nerdverse their head would explode. If you put, though he's in a little bit of trouble right now, if you were to put, what's his name that played Arrow?
Really? He's in trouble?
He got drunk on a plane and pissed off his wife and got thrown off. But if you were to put him on in the movie, or any of the characters for that matter, even the Flash, the Barry Allen from the Flash TV show, which I think the Flash show is over with. But that, oh my gosh, it'd be freaking incredible. So, but moving right along,
Steve in the
as we kind of, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it as we get closer to some of these DC movies coming out. Of course, we, like I said, Suicide Squad is coming out in just about just a little over a month. Flash has got to be like another year or so until we're going to see that on HBO Max and in theaters. I'm stoked about that. So, anyways, moving right along. Our main topic, though, it seems like our main topic has been our news and notes. It's been over a year. We started the show in, I think, April or May of 2020. I remember I sat poolside one weekend, freshly minted MacBook Pro that I got, and I was on the phone with JR and said, all right, let's get off the pot. Let's do this podcast thing. And he says, how do we want to do this? Just put it on YouTube. It's the easiest thing to do. Record it. We can't meet in person. Got to do Zoom. I looked into Zoom. It was for a 2-man booth. It was going to be free. Good news. And we just we finally said, okay, let's do it. What are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? Okay, let's record it this Saturday. And I think we started, our first show was recorded on a Saturday, and then we decided to do the Sunday thing, which was a little bit easier. And it's been a fun ride for 50 episodes. And like I said, we're coming to a wrap on season 2 here in a couple of weeks. for over the last year, let's kind of recap some of our favorite moments of the last 50 episodes. What was your favorite piece of news over the last 50 episodes that we covered? Did you just turn your microphone off?
No. Yes, but no. Oh man. Favorite piece of news. That's a tough one, actually. Even though I write most of the script, guys, and I thought I had it for like I wrote favorite piece of news, and even though I say it's a tough one, I'm still trying to think of it right now. But I would probably care to say one of my favorite pieces of news would probably be in the past year. Was it? Did Walking Phoenix win? Was it this year that he won for Joker?
Yeah,
Last
he
year?
won for Joker. Won for Best Actor for Joker. Joaquin Phoenix won this year. No,
Last year. It
last year
was
because it was in
last year.
person. It was in person.
Yeah, yeah. I think that one, another one, would have been a tie because one, even though we've had a lot of serious movies to begin with in the comic book realm, right? We have yet to have like one of those serious actors, quote unquote, right, win something for their role in a movie about a comic book character.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix for me is up there, definitely
Yeah, that
fucking up there, man.
was, it's kind of cool. It's funny going back and you look at all the great comic book characters. And I just watched a behind the scenes on the casting of the Marvel Cinematic Universe today. And it's funny, you look at the all the comic book characters that have been portrayed over the 100 years since Superman, that there have been actors who have won Academy Awards for other roles that just happen to play Batman, just happen to play this, just happen to play that. Like, for example, George Clooney has won an Academy Award. Did not win an Academy Award for playing Batman.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer has been, I believe, nominated. Michael Keaton has, I think, won for Birdman.
Yeah.
But did not win for Batman.
Mhm.
Christian Bale has won an Academy Award, did not
Has
win
won
it for
many.
Batman. Ben Affleck has won an Academy Award, didn't win it for Batman.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, I just thought about this. The only two comic book characters to win an Academy Award
Say it.
was Joker.
Say it.
Joker is the only character to win an Academy Award. Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix. Now I did point this out. It was funny. I want to bring this in real quick. This was sidetrack real quick. The casting that Marvel has done over the last 10 plus years is incredible. Second to none.
Yeah.
They fought tooth and nail to get Robert Downey Jr. to play that role. The casting director for Marvel, when she interviewed for the job, she got thrown right into the lion's den. She gets hired by Marvel Studios. You are our casting director. You are going to cast all of these movies. And what they had in the pipeline was Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 1. That was the only thing they had greenlit. And so their first priority was find us our Tony Stark. She went to Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, what do you want out of Tony Stark? This, and this. Who fits that role better than anybody in Hollywood? Robert Downey Jr. She goes back to the studio. Studio says, hell no, we are not hiring Robert Downey Jr. He's never done an action movie. He's a recovering alcoholic. And he's not a family-driven actor. He's not family friendly. And so she went back to Jon Favreau and said, I agree with you, but they say no to Robert. And he goes, make it happen. And so they just kept selling. They finally pushed him. So it was a push to get him. Did not know this. We know about John Krasinski having played, auditioned for Captain America. Did not know this. Chris Pratt auditioned for Steve Rogers.
Oh, wow.
And they put a pin in him and said, we're going to get something for him.
Okay.
He auditioned for Peter Quill. James Gunn hated him. James Gunn hated the idea of hiring the, quote, fat actor from Parks and Rec. Then he read, and James Gunn went to the casting director. Yeah, that's our guy right there. That's Peter Quill right there. Real quick, other thing, Lupita Nyong'o read for Nebula. Chris, what's her name? Gillian.
Karen Gillian.
Karen Gillian read for Sharon Carter. Chadwick Boseman read for Drax. And also Dave Bautista almost walked out of the audition for Drax because he walked in and saw a bunch of other actors and went, I don't have a chance in hell. I'm just a freaking pro wrestler trying to get in the acting. I have no shot in hell. Came down to the final two guys. He won't say who the other guy was, but he beat out the other guy for Drax. But I thought that was an interesting little story, kind of tying in about these actors and stuff that have played comic book heroes over the years. My favorite bit of news has been, I think, going back to the Emmys and the Golden Globes, the Emmys last year, and seeing so much representation from comic book characters, most specifically Watchmen, and whatnot, being nominated for Emmys. My other favorite moment was the holy F moment we had with that Disney investor presentation back in December, where we blew up our entire script for that week. It was the beginning of the.
I gotta say,
have you read this?
Fucking say that shit pissed me the fuck off in a good way, because
I had a hell of a script.
I had a freaking full on thing because I think that was one of the times where like I sent you a script that Friday, right? Friday.
You actually got it out on time, sent it to the correct email address.
Thursday, Friday, right? I'm like saying, hey man, I broke it down. I broke this shit down and I gotta see, what's coming up because I really want to talk about it, right? I think that Friday or Saturday, the fucking meeting came on. And then I had to just fucking throw everything away.
And we just went
everything away. That shit pissed me the hell off, man. But it was awesome because Star Wars was back.
Yeah, that was huge. We got to see Rogue Squadron. Obviously, we got to see Rangers of the New Republic, which has since been canceled. Confirmation that there would be a Book of Boba Fett and a Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
A hint at the idea that we're probably going to see. Was it Old Republic? What's the series that's going on with Marvel?
New Republic.
New Republic. We are going to see, which is going back in time.
Yeah,
the beginning of the Jedi Order and whatnot. So there was a hint of that. We haven't been officially, but then that was when, all hell broke loose when it came to the Marvel universe. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Armor Wars, Secret Invasion. It was epic.
Yeah, man, it was freaking huge, man.
And then, of course, I think the other favorite moment was us reviewing the Back to the Theater trailer that was released by Marvel earlier this spring, which of course gave us our first look at the Eternals, the first our second look at Shang-Chi, the Marvel, some of the new names and stuff like that. We got the Wakanda Forever, all that kind of stuff. That was probably my favorite bit of news.
Actually, just real quick, but let's go back to. I just remember my second favorite piece of news, man. My second favorite piece of news is when I ranted and fucking hated the fact that I bit the fucking bullet and bought Cyberpunk 2077.
For those who don't know,
and found no. Still a fucking sore spot. I hyped this fucking game up because I'm it's a great, it's from a well-destined studio because Witcher 3 is fucking one of the best games I've ever played on PS4. And it's still a great game, by the way. My guy, my people, I have played Cyberpunk 2077. And no, before that, I saw reviews, I saw gameplay, I played it myself. Holy piece of trash this fucking game was, and still kind of is. I play it still, right? And even after on PS5 upgrades and all that shit, and like some hefty ass fucking updates, or I'm talking about like 20, 30 to 50 gigabytes of updates, right? It runs better, but it's
still a piece of crap.
Shit. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game when it works.
We sat for the first time we ever recorded in the studio that I'm in right now. For those who don't know, going back for 50 episodes, the first episode we ever recorded, I was literally lying in bed. I had my laptop in my lap, and I had a handheld microphone because I didn't have all the equipment. that
That's
JR
right.
talked me into. Um,
Yeah.
but it was so basic. It was super basic.
Yeah, man. That's
And
awesome.
we eventually just made the decision. I made the decision to move into the room I'm in right now, which at the
Mm.
time was my kids' playroom. And as it went on, it became my kids. Well, at least for my daughter, it was her schoolroom, because during COVID she was distance learning and stuff like that. But it was in this very room last summer that we did a video game episode, our first video game episode, and we talked about Cyberpunk 2077. I remember I pulled it up on the big screen up here, and was breaking it down. Like, this game actually looks kind of fun. Like, this is going to be kind of cool. I might actually
Yeah.
get this game. You get to really get into creating your character and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game came out, and it has been a steaming pile of dog crap since day one. And JR
Yeah.
has, like, I've never seen a guy do a complete 180 on anything, period. Not just a video game, not a movie, not a TV show, not a period, anything. JR flipped it on the screws and went, fuck this game, it's terrible. There's nothing that's going to save this franchise. So that was
It's
it. Has been a
fucking.
tale of so many. If you can go back, and I may make a playlist on our
Oh,
YouTube channel of all of
yeah.
our video game episodes. We do
Oh
have
my
right now, we
god.
have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We
Yeah.
have a low-key playlist. I will go back, and we have a con. We have the Wrath of Khan,
Yeah.
which, by the way,
Was
we are going to
yeah.
do. And if it figures out time wise with my vacation, we may have to do a wrap up
Which is
after the
fine.
con season.
Which is fine.
They're going to do an SDCC at home again this year before relaunching next year. So
Hmm.
we'll probably do a wrap up in early August to
Yeah.
kind of kickstart season 2.
Yeah. I gotta say,
But
is
yeah,
was that the actual start of my soapbox, my JR soapbox series, or those things that we did? Because like I know that I ranted before on the show, right?
I think
Just
it
random
may
stuff.
have. It may have been. I mean, your soapbox kind of came and went
Yeah,
throughout the year, but I don't know when it started, because we kind of got on a soapbox almost on episode 1,
yeah,
talking about America Chavez,
yeah.
and
Oh
just
God, yeah. Here's
so
hope. Yeah, here's hoping your boy can freaking finally, upgrade his freaking Mac, and I'll just pump out content for everybody here. But yeah, just
what was
again,
your
guys.
yeah
Go ahead.
real quick, we'll skip into the next one. What was your favorite flex pull item from this past year?
Obviously.
Your PS5, you're a dick.
Or actually, I
other
can't find it.
other than my green screen and all the upgrades I've made to the office, I would have to say finally getting my
Oh, I totally think I have
was it the Batgirl statue? Was that what it was that I did
Was
that
it?
unboxing?
Was the Packer statue?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which statue it was. I think it was a Batgirl statue.
Mm.
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was the wedding dress Catwoman. That was probably my favorite flex pull item.
Yeah.
And then of course my Amazing Spider-Man number 300 CGC coming back at a 9.2, which
Yeah.
totally shocked me. I honestly was
Fucking
expecting.
asshole.
I was totally expecting a lower a lower grade, like in the 8s or something like that. But yeah, that would probably be my Catwoman wedding dress DC collectible / sideshow statue that I finally got. I'd been waiting, only to find out that there was I owed $10 in shipping, and it fucking shipped like that. I'm like, motherfucker, it's been sitting there for like 3 months. What was your favorite moment? I know mine. What was your favorite moment from the show?
When my boy dropped his Spider-Man 300.
I knew you were gonna say it. I knew you were gonna say it, because that was mine. Yes. The infamous
Come on, dude.
It was our infamous flex pull episode, where I was on the other side of my house, and I was cleaning out my collection because it had just been creating. It was, if you go look at my Instagram page and scroll through and find my comic book collection, it has grown exponentially over the last few years, and it was overtaking my master bedroom, to the point where I've since moved my collection partially to one room, partially to another, and some of it's in my garage. And I was organizing everything, preparing to move it into the garage. So I was organizing it. So I had books everywhere, strewn everywhere. And we were doing this gigantic flex pull episode where it was just all about flexing the comics that we had. And of course, my two biggest flexes are my Amazing Spider-Man number 300 and my Amazing Spider-Man number 129, which of course is first appearance of Venom, number
Yeah,
300. And
keep on going. Keep on. Fuck you. Keep on going.
Well, JR walked away to go use the restroom or something, and I was flipping through some of the books, and I turned around, showed my Amazing 300, and as I tried to flip it back around and slide it into my box, it fell out of my hand and fell.
Dude missed.
It fell to the floor.
Dude missed.
And I don't have carpet on the ground. I have tile, and thankfully, it fell flat. I was so worried it fell on its corner. And if it fell on a corner, there is no way in hell I was getting a 9.2. I was so shocked that I got a 9.2 on that grade. Funny thing is, when I got that back, I was like, "Sweet, I got a 9.2." And Javel Q was like, "Why are you so shocked about that?" And I was like, "Dude, I dropped it." And he goes, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "I dropped it on camera." And he goes, "The fuck were you handling that for? And Stu, why the hell would you drop it? And why would you admit to dropping it? And why would you burn the evidence?" And I was like, I had to own it. I had to own that I dropped Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Thank God I didn't drop 129. That would really have sucked. And the good news is that is supposed to be in my possession very, very soon. I'm hoping maybe it'll be here by the end of this season. If not, it definitely will be in season 2. And we will make its debut. What was so where do we go from here?
Yeah, man.
And we've been teasing it for over a year. And I think that one thing JR has in here in the notes, when are we getting back into convention diving? It could be as early for us locally, could be as early as December with Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario. That is going on. It's going to be the weekend before Christmas. So I think it's the 21st and the 22nd at the Ontario Convention Center. Really inexpensive Comic-Con if you want to go to a con, if you've never been to a con before. What do we have on the horizon for BS Comics I Love You? I'd like to get on board with someone like Comic-Con Revolution and do a live show from there. Help us continue to launch our platform as a pop culture podcast about any and all things pop culture. I think that is something that
I know that we're still having a very fledgling fan base, and still, guys, thank you very much for just continuing to listen to two guys rant for about 2 hours now.
It's crazy. Our brethren from the Philippines, we continue to grow in the Philippines.
Thank you. Salamat po. And it's crazy how we went from 1 hour. I remember from like our very first time, we went from like an hour and 30. It's like 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 30 now. And thank you very much, guys, for just sticking with us. Regardless of that. But yeah, I would love though if for hopefully in the next year, maybe 2 years or so, maybe somewhere down the line, that if we have a big fan base enough where we're able to do a live we call it a live freaking not broadcast, but more so just a live panel for everybody there. That'd be nice to have. It'll be local or something like that. That'd be cool to see. Just friends and fans just come and listen to us again, man. Just listen to us live. See what we look like in person. Even though we've already revealed our faces and everything. And
and I do know that one of the things that we're going to do, and we had talked about doing this when Comic Asylum completely reopened at post-COVID, and I think that though we are there now, I still don't think it's the right time to do it. I think we're going to wait maybe into the fall and see what Chick does, and if things really start to change. If not, definitely maybe for their 6th anniversary in May of 2022, which is always a big party. Maybe we'll do something there. Who knows? The future, there's so much in the future. But I will tell you this: one of the things that we are going to do, and maybe, but it would take about half of our season 2, is finally, like we did with Star Wars, is we're going to finally sit down and break down the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Are we going to
Yeah.
do it by a phase per episode? Are we going to do every an episode dedicated to each movie? Let us know in the comments below what you would like us to do. We'll really leave it
Oh,
up to you, but
yeah.
breaking down every single movie actually does sound somewhat intriguing,
Yeah.
because there's so much content that's out there, and the
Yeah.
movies just grew hand over fist every single time, for content and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we'll address that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think those are live shows, and doing more deep dives into a genre, into a franchise, like we did with Star Wars this year. Which, by the way, that was all on JR. That was a huge risk that I think
Hmm.
reaped us a lot of benefits. I think that really kind of gravitated a different audience towards us, and that was a good call on his part. Like, dude, let's do a let's do a full breakdown of Star Wars.
Hey, bro, let's rant for about 2 hours of how fucking the new one, the new year series sucks. But at
Oh,
the same time,
and it was
love
great.
the old.
Yeah, it was great, and we did it so differently. We did kind of, it was our first
Mhm.
watch along style.
Yeah.
JR's notes were just incredible, and it was just amazing. Every single week, I'd get these Star Wars notes, and he would go off on a tangent and bitch and complain. So,
Yeah, man.
um, guests, giveaways, pumping out more content. What or did you have something? Sorry, you had something to chime in with.
Oh no, just more so. Yeah, just looking on guests. I know that for a fact we definitely do want guests on, and yes, we do have a lot of we do have. I can't say a lot, but we do have a good portion of like contacts who just want to come on the show and just really, us interview, whether it be artists, whether it be cosplayers, whether it be owners of comic book stores, right? Giving the even though for those who are around the valley here and they go to the local comic book shops, whether that be Comic Asylum, um, uh, Desert Oasis, or Interstellar, it would be nice to have the personality behind it come on and just have an interview for a little bit. And so I do know that you guys been asking for that one, as well as just seeing different takes from other people, and just maybe possibly doing another guest spot sometime. Have another person come in and and try to equal out our craziness of he and I of Kevin Pillow and myself just ranting and bitching about Star Wars episode blah blah blah. Right?
No,
Yeah, it's kind of
it's
crazy,
been a
man. But
lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
No, it's been fun, man. It's just more so, yeah. We absolutely would like to, and it's kind of harken back to just a little bit. One of my favorite things from this show and what I've shown is that yes, it does take a lot to get invested into making a podcast. But honestly, one of my favorite things is just starting at the podcast. Honestly,
Yeah.
because this guy right here, man. If you haven't noticed, he and I talk a lot.
Hmm.
A lot. Sometimes for too damn long. Uh,
Go
hand in the
back and
air.
watch our WandaVision episode.
Hand up in the air. That episode was supposed to be freaking like 45 minutes to an hour. That was, yeah. But yeah, just
We
I
actually tried to
go ahead.
break down WandaVision in like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
We went a little
We
bit longer.
actually the show. Let me sorry. The series ended before we stopped recording.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. But just overall, man, like one of my favorite things was just starting up the
Yeah.
podcast, man. Just buying, buying the monitors and new laptop and headset and mic and stuff for nice and everything, man. But just the this thing of like just speaking our ideas, man, it's been really fun, and just seeing our takes and just knowing that there's an audience wanting to listen to two guys rant constantly about fucking comic books and the shit that Marvel and DC are doing in the comic book realm and the movie realm, man, is has been a fascinating and a very hilarious and great ride, man. I can't honestly, I can't I don't see another person to do this freaking podcast with, man.
Yeah.
Rocking with this guy for a very, very long fucking time, man. And yeah, that's one of my favorite things of this show, man. Just starting up, talking about our stuff, man. And again, we've been talking about this for a very long time. This guy and I met 2016, talking
Yep.
about doing a podcast for 3 years after that. We finally do it last year. Finally broke bread. And I'm hoping that we do a live, or we do a in a sitting, we sit down at a table somewhere and actually do a podcast face to face.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I see.
and we just got to figure it out because this has become
Mm.
so easy to do behind the screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Real quick, it would not be an episode if we did not do. I know, and this whole episode's been flexing the last 50 episodes. I would be remiss if we did not finish this episode with a flex pool.
Go ahead, my guy.
I had the opportunity to sneak off
Uh-huh.
yesterday to Comic Asylum Palm Desert and visit
A
our good friend Tony Fleeks,
Yep.
aka AMF.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the coolest initials you could ever have, by the way. So I had a chance to visit with him momentarily. He did remember me, which I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I did grab a couple things to clean out my pull list that I did not get last week
Yes.
because I missed them.
Yeah, just real quick, for those who didn't know, Tony Flicks actually held a not private, but like he held a signing venue at Comic Asylum, and I'm pretty sure for those who have been listening, they know of that already. But for those listening worldwide, and of course countrywide, man, yeah, Comic Asylum is one of the constant comic book venues. I'm not to say that the other ones are great, but like yeah, when artists come in to SoCal, Palm Springs, Palm Desert area, they ask for Chick.
Yeah,
they ask for Chick. So Chick's of course one of the co-owners of Comic Asylum. Yeah, she is the literal like a freaking spider queen. We're pulling all the threads of all these artists coming around like, hey, I'm here in Palm Desert. come see us. We'll take you out, get sushi, and we'll sign here. You have friends, you're with friends, and you have fans here. So like, yeah, that was all of them. Again, applause to Comic Asylum and just them getting 20 fleeks, and I'm pretty sure that was a huge success for them, man. So
it was. It was sound like it was a great great um, uh, weekend for them. And again, Tony Fleeks, of course, known for most recently for writing Stray Dogs. Of course, he is drawing Stray Dogs. I think he was one of the creators of the comic. He also has done My Little Ponies. He's a prolific My Little Ponies artist and cover artist. He's also done Transformers. He's done numerous comic books over his illustrious career. He did draw a cover book for West Coast Avengers. He's done Gwenpool and whatnot. So great artist. So I got some flex pulls. I did get a couple of J. Scott Campbell's. I may have to take off the screen because I'm going old school today. Did not have to put my green screen up today, so I'm going to have to take down the backdrop here, show you my dirty office here. So we got a little J. Scott Campbell Spawn's Universe. Got the Knights, the Knight cover, I guess you'd say. Mm-hmm. I guess they're all Knight covers, but there's another J. Scott Campbell Spawn's Universe cover. That was a good, cool cover. It was so funny was when I picked this up, I was like, wow, I'm going to get a great price on a Virgin variant. And then they've had the Spawn logo here on the bottom. This actually is an old book. I tried to get that signed, but I had read the information wrong. Grabbed this one yesterday. Issue number 2 of Transformers, My Little Pony Transformers, Volume 2. This is cover A of issue 2. Got this signed by Tony. Issue number 4 of My Little Pony Transformers volume number 1. Issue number 2, which is one of my favorites because it has the Dinobots on the front cover. And issue number 3. Now you're wondering, well, Kevin, where's issue number 1? Because it was a 4 issue series. Well, issue number 1 is on its way to CGC. I am going to get my first yellow band. Got to send a special shout out to our good friend Edwin, who was doing the witnessing for CGC over the weekend at the 3 different signings that Tony did. Thursday night in the private signing, and then Friday and Saturday in the public signing. So shout out to friend of the show Edwin for doing that, and a great job. And Yeah, I'm a little bit lighter in the pocketbook because of it. So, but hopefully I'll get a quicker turnaround than my Amazing Spider-Man number 300. So
You won't. You won't.
I won't. But nonetheless, that's what I got this week. I got this collection from this lady that came into the store here. Um,
Mm.
it was free. I was helping her. Her late husband was a huge comic book collector, and she needed some help with some advice on selling it. And I gave her some advice, and then she brought this part of the collection back to the store and just told Chick, here, he can have it. So I'm going to go through it, rebag and board some of the stuff and see what I've got. Might have some diamonds in the rough. I know there's some Michael Turner covers in there. So we'll check that out. Maybe I'll do that in like a live stream or something like that. So
Mm.
check that out. You got any flexibles there, JR, other than your
Uh,
PS5 controller?
haha. Let me move my beer out of the way so I don't freaking
You may want to take
drop anything on
your
it.
your virtual background off too.
Yeah, I'll do that too. Give me a second. Uh, yeah, I got some stuff, man. I had a bunch of CGC stuff coming from I put in months ago, literal months ago, man. So yeah, I do know that getting a CGC anything right now is kind of crazy,
Yeah,
because of
freaking
just how
nuts.
backlogged they are in Florida. So, but yeah, just I bought some stuff off the Bay, off the eBay material. First and foremost, I totally forgot I had this. I don't think I never showed this one off, but I got this from the store a long time ago. Right, this is a Jim Lee, Children of the Atom 1/100 Jim Lee variant. Got from Comic
Nice.
Asylum. Yeah, this one I got off the Bay. Venom
Hmm.
200, the Stegman version variant. This one, I know we talked about it earlier. This is a secret Marvel superhero Secret Wars number 3, the first appearance of Tanya, the new ongoing possibly main villain character in She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
So played by I
Yeah, I
forget her
can't
name.
remember either.
I forget her name, but yeah, she's been a lot. I got the Fantastic Four right there,
Oh, Peach Momoko
33
cover.
Ishimoku cover. Yep. And this one actually, this is a dye variant, right? This is
Hmm.
from
Interesting.
this is a Peach Momoko. No, not a Peach Momoko. This is a Stephanie Hans variant, right? But
Cool.
this particular variant, right, is only sold in the UK.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, there are a lot of, for those who don't know, there are different version of books now. The main US print of
Yeah.
books is what's sought after. That's the main
Yeah.
number lineage, so to speak, of comic books.
Yeah.
And but there are some cool variants.
Yeah.
um they're still using their own number
Yeah.
system, but it'll
Mhm.
say Marvel UK.
Yeah.
It'll say Marvel Mexico. Marvel Mexico usually has some really cool variants.
Yeah, I think most of
um
it's like the mole. I think though for that one. This one specifically is this. It has the same variant cover, but it's a version variant. So this is the only version variant. It can only be bought from a UK from a comic book shop in the UK. And one
Nice.
of my last ones right here, I got another Marvel Avengers 1 out of 10. Another one. I got it for decently priced, right? And
Yeah.
my last one came in 9.8. So I'm here's hoping this will come in 9.8. This is a 1 out of 10. The first Yellow Hulk, if I remember correctly. Hopefully he comes out soon. And sorry about this, my guy, but
That's all right. JR got his CGC. I have not got mine yet. I'm still waiting on one book.
I gotta say, I got some dozen here, man. This one hurt the most. A
Ironheart
nine
Riri Williams 9-4.
9.4.
Nice.
This one hurt, dude, because I think a 9.8 is going for like $800. I
Have I
think
looked up my
yours.
I haven't looked up my stocks today.
Sucks. This one blew up. This one started blowing up, man. Someone's killing children.
Yeah,
Version variant.
that's doing really big right now.
Yeah, version variant of episode of issue 9. Oof, Franny, right here. This is a Franny variant cover. 1 out of 100. No, one of something. I think it's a limited edition one. 9.8 die. I don't know if I showed this one yet. I got this one from the store. know if I showed these one yet, but yeah, Demon Days.
Oh, cool.
Camel.
Yeah, I've been kind of hemming and hawing about getting that one.
I got it, dude. This one I'm pretty sure it might go on the eBay listing for me. Darth Vader.
Ooh, nice.
Darth Vader 3 first Dr. Aphra. She's been blown up like crazy, man.
Oh,
if she's in the next season of whatever Star Wars show they gonna put in, she's gonna blow up. I'm pretty sure I showed these one though, but I'm just checking again. American Chavez 1, this variant for it. Ice Cream Man number 1, 98. This one's the exact same one, but I got a worse one, 8.5. The worst one out of the bunch.
Let's say, yeah, didn't you have like multiple of that one?
Yeah, I did. Teen Titans number 9, number 12. First appearance of the first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. And this one, 98, 96. This one's I'm definitely gonna sell. And of course, Spider-Man 4.
Yes, I have that one, and if I could get my hands on another copy of it, which I don't think I'm going to, but
good luck.
I got a really, really nice copy of it from Empty Tombs for pretty much nothing for what it's worth, especially considering that Silk is going to be debuting in the new Amazon series.
She's going insane right now. No, it's you'll be looking at $100 book just raw.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, oh goodness gracious. Now I'm gonna look it up. What it's going for?
It's crazy, right? Like, you think that one right there, my 98 is going for like $400 or $500, and the Ramos variant one for $25. I actually picked one up when it was like $200 to $300 like 2 years ago.
Right now, I judge mine at about an 8.5, and Go Collect has that at $130.
Yeah. It's insane.
She's just blowing up right now. So
she's blowing up. It's blowing up.
Yeah, let's see what does Key Collector have it as? High grade 215. So I mean, low grade's $20. I mean, you got to understand is that tells you right there when and that's a first print. That's a cover A. It's not a variant or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That is a cover A during the original Sin storyline, and it's in a low grade. It's a wall book. It's a $20 wall book, and that just tells you how big of a character that Cindy Moon is going to become. So, All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for supporting the show for 50 episodes. Here is for the final 2 episodes of season number 1. Hope you guys really, really enjoy it. Again, you can find us on PS Comics I Love You on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us on Twitter at PS Comics I Love You, letter U. PS Comics I Love You at gmail.com is the email address. He is at also not JR Comics 42. But you want to follow that Instagram page because you never know when those eBay listings are coming. And follow me at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't have TikTok, so don't even ask. I barely even use Snapchat. I don't even know why. True Voice of Reason 23 on Twitch. Voice of Reason 23 here on YouTube. So yeah, support us and continue to support your boys. God. All right, guys, thank you so much for the last 50 episodes. Here is to finishing things off strong for season number 1, and then we will kick things off straight away with season number 2 in August. As always, be good. Wear your damn mask if you can, and as always, peace.
Yeah, just let y'all know, man. The Amazing Spider-Man 4 Ramos variant, the one I talked about, went for nearly $1,000 for 98.
There you go. That's a mic drop right there.
Candace bought that at the first Palm Trees, second Palm Trees Comic Con, right? Right when Ramos was there, she bought she brought the Raw and had him sign it. She got it back 98.
Nice.
She's looking at possibly at 1,200. Yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. Crazy.
All right.
You guys.
See you guys.